the Lord started speaking to me and he was like, you need to start praying bigger prayers. That I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, but I was also diagnosed with SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So basically my stomach was like eating itself and fermenting. So I had a really hard time processing food correctly and getting the vitamins that I needed. All week I was like, okay, I guess I'll start praying bigger prayers. I started feeling really sick at the end of 2020, which of course COVID, all the things are crazy. And so I started feeling really sick, didn't really know what was going on, just, felt horrible all the time. Ended up getting COVID, thought it was just long haul symptoms, all the things. Continually went to doctors, no one had any answers. And then it wasn't until 2023, so about 3 years later, that I ended up getting diagnosed with Hashimoto's. From there, I was just pretty discouraged. It's an incurable autoimmune disease, so not really much you can do other than manage it. Knew that God was a healer, but I wouldn't say that I was originally believing for that. And then the Lord, within 2 months, moved mightily in my life in a crazy way. So I started going to River House again in February of 2024. Was just in the deepest pit ever. Struggled PTSD, panic disorder. Was in and out of the hospital constantly. I was so sick. Just felt abandoned and wasn't in a good place. As I started going to River House, was living with my boyfriend at the time. And one day, Megan Bailey actually was praying over, she had a call for people who had gut-wrenching fear in their life. And since I was a young girl, fear is something that's always kept me captive. So she was speaking about gut-wrenching fear that keeps you up in the middle of the night. And I've struggled with nightmares and at the time insomnia, couldn't sleep at all. And so, just felt so led. It actually was, as I had got up and had gotten to the altar, I was I actually didn't even realize how I'd gotten there. It was something almost took over my body. Just very shy, not one that would ever put myself out there, take up space, never wanted to be seen. The way that I even got from my chair to the altar, was wild in the first place. But I just felt so called that it was I need to go get freedom. I'm in such a pit, in the deepest, darkest place. And if there's even an ounce of light that I can grasp onto, if there's anything that I can get from this, I'm gonna get it. And so I went up to the altar, which is so unlike me, but went up to the altar and it's hey, Lord, I need you in this moment. I don't know what else to do. And here I am. And got a crazy call to move out of my house, break up with my boyfriend that I was living with, soon to be engaged to. In an instant, was so sad, but felt peace I had never felt before. And was leaving the one person that had loved me and knew me and was so good to me. So it didn't make sense to any logical mind, heart, brain. But I was hey, Lord, you're saying to let it go, and so I'll let it go. So went home, broke up with my boyfriend and was I'm gonna be moving out on Wednesday. So that was Sunday. Moved out Wednesday. My parents were in Abu Dhabi at the time. Just so happened that they were coming home Tuesday evening and had an Airbnb with an extra room that I could stay in for a month. So the Lord was just I'm calling you to do this, and I know you have nowhere to go, but actually you do. So provided a place for me to live. Moved out on Wednesday, and then did Journey to Wholeness right after. Just jumped into it because I was if I'm gonna do this, I need community. So I was Lord, I'm giving you my yes. This is what you want to do, then okay. And then went to Journey to Wholeness. met my roommate that weekend. That following Sunday, had a room to stay in and was moving out the following week. The Lord called me to it, provided a home, provided a friend, and through it all, like, I haven't had a panic attack since. And knew that, like, I'm going to take you away from the only source of comfort you've had, the one person that feels safe to you. And I have better and bigger things planned for, like, your life and your mind, and like it was like the beginning of, I see you and I know you, and like, I'm not going to call you to something that I'm not going to call you to something that I'm not going to pull you through. I'm not going to hold your hand, or I'm not going to hold your hand through it. So yeah, just felt so much peace through the whole process, and haven't had a panic attack since. And I was like, oh, okay, Lord, if you can do this in my life, then you can do anything. And so I was completely like rid of panic disorder and anxiety in a moment. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start believing that the Lord can heal other things too. And so I was continuing on this program that I was doing with my doctor, and was feeling a little bit better, but was still just not in a great place. And it wasn't until September, I had just started the school, was doing better, but was at a Monday night prayer set, and a woman had been healed of like blindness, I think it was. And so I was like, oh, please pray for me. Like, I would love to believing fully that the Lord could heal. She prayed for me, and we chatted, and I left that evening and was like, the Lord started speaking to me, and he was like, you need to start praying bigger prayers. That I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, but I was also diagnosed with SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So basically my stomach was like eating itself and fermenting. So I had a really hard time processing food correctly and getting the vitamins that I needed. All week I was like, okay, I guess I'll start praying bigger prayers. And I had mentioned it to a friend, and she was like, well, duh. Like, why would you not think of that? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And just like how funny it is that we are like, God can do this, but I don't want to ask too much. And so was just inviting me in to ask for the big things. And so all week, I just been contending, like, Lord, you can heal my Hashimoto's, you can heal my SIBO, you can heal my stomach, you can do X, Y, and Z. And so the conference with Will Hart and Julian Adams was that Friday, Saturday. Went in with the school just expecting to serve all weekend, but also knew of like, okay, Lord, like there's something that's going to happen this week and I don't know what, but was just expectant too. And then Friday night came, and Julian gets up on the stage and he's like, the Lord wants to heal some people. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And goes to the left of the stage, starts prophesying over some people, comes to the right of the stage where I am, and immediately just like the fire of God just like lands on my body and starts bringing clarity to my situation, things I didn't even really know at that time. But when I was diagnosed, like I didn't fully know when the disease came on. And so it's like there's a woman who has a blood disease, who was diagnosed in November of 2020. And the Lord wants to bring healing. I'm like, I think that's me, but I'm not quite sure. And he keeps speaking. And the Lord is so intentional in the way that he speaks to us, and he knows the intimate beings of our heart, you know? And he was like, you're his favorite. And that's something that the Lord is like, when I first came back to Christ, he was something that he would tell me, was that I was his favorite. And so silly, but he had said it. And I was like, oh my goodness, he's talking about me. And so raised my hand, and yeah, just was hit with the Holy Spirit. And he was like, the Lord's bringing healing to your blood disease. And he's also bringing healing to something that's going on with your stomach on an enzyme level, which is exactly like I couldn't process food properly. And so just was fully in a moment hit with the fire of God and healed. And that night, ate my first normal meal, and everything was really fine, and had my blood work done 2 weeks later, because I was supposed to get blood work done the week prior and had it canceled randomly. So I got blood work done 2 weeks later, and everything since has been completely normal. Crazy.
The Lord's like, no.
We're not doing blood work before, we're doing it after.
You will get confirmation.
Yeah. Yes. And like just so intimately, and he just knows your heart. And my parents travel the country or travel the world. And they were out of the country at the time. And so sweet even for it to be filmed so I could send it to my mom to be like, look at what happened tonight. Like, so she got to watch it all unfold too. So just so sweet. Like he knows every single facet of our heart's desires. Yeah, I think before I knew that the Lord loved me, I knew that he saw me. And I think just in an instant it changed of like, oh, wow, you really would leave the 99 for the one, especially if the one was me. He sees, like he sees me and he knows every hair on my head. And that's something that we can say, and I think I knew it here, but I didn't actually know it here. And so to just feel so seen and known amidst the brokenness and the illness and all of the things that I was dealing with at the time, like just to be so seen and known, it completely changed our relationship and the way that like I view the Father. I view him as like different facets now. Like you're more than just Lord. Like you're a good dad who wants to give his children good gifts, you know? I would say that there's light on the other side. Like I've dealt with anxiety and panic since I was 8 years old. And there's days where just debilitating, weeks, months where it's debilitating. And there's like a breath of fresh air with the Lord. Like there's hope on the other side. It's not gonna be an always thing. Yeah, there's just so much freedom in Jesus.